recording.
The United States is approaching a crisis point. Our economy is stagnant and we are facing growing overseas competition for resources and influence. The need to create new jobs and secure a stable supply of energy is vital for our country to maintain its competitive edge in global affairs. With that in mind, the Obama administration must make a determination whether or not to authorize construction of the Keystone XL pipeline, which according to a 2013 U.S. State Department fact sheet would transport up to 830,000 additional barrels of oil per day from Canada to the United States. The key decision point on this matter is whether or not the pipeline is in the national interest. The purpose of this speech is to persuade my audience that the Keystone XL pipeline is in the national interests of the United States. I'm credible to speak on this topic because I have conducted extensive research on the Keystone XL proposal. I will discuss the need to ensure American energy security, the economic benefits associated with job creation, the need to remain competitive in global affairs, and the negligible environmental impact of the pipeline itself. Let's begin by looking at American energy security. In the United States, oil is always in demand. According to statistics provided by the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the United States consumed nearly 14 billion barrels of refined petroleum products in 2010 and 2011. For both years, this was about 22% of total world petroleum consumption. In the first half of 2013 alone, the U.S. has imported over 1.7 billion barrels of oil. Most of this is coming from countries that are either hostile to the United States or whose own internal instability renders their continued reliability as suppliers in question. My analysis of the statistics provided by the U.S. Energy Information Administration indicates that if the output from the Keystone XL pipeline were realized, it could reduce our imports from unreliable sources by as much as 32%. According to Nebraska Congressman Lee Terry, chairman of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, in his 2012 journal article, Keystone XL, The Pipeline to Energy Security, oil fulfilled about 36% of our energy needs in 2011. Clearly, oil is an integral part of the American economy, not to mention our culture, as it is essential for most forms of transportation and manufacturing. And while development of alternative energy sources is important, the oil industry is not going away anytime soon. And developing a dedicated line to Canadian production would allow us to increase our reliability on a dependable source while reducing our dependence on unreliable sources which expose our economy to risk. Which brings me to my next point. Just as Keystone has the potential to strengthen our energy security, it also has the potential to strengthen our economic security through jobs creation. With an unemployment rate at 7.3%, job creation continues to be an important matter for most Americans. According to the American Petroleum Institute, approval of the pipeline could generate nearly 85,000 jobs by the year 2020. In a study by TransCanada, the company bidding to construct the pipeline estimates construction alone would account for an estimated 16,000 jobs and generate a $20 billion economic impact in the United States. In conversations I've had with 20 co-workers, every one of them is concerned about the economic stability and energy security of our country, and all of them would support construction of the Keystone XL pipeline if it creates jobs and secures a stable supply of oil. American economic security is not only important here at home, but it is vital to maintaining our competitive edge globally. The global competition for energy resources is at an all-time high, and with that in mind, Canada is going to continue to extract and sell this oil, regardless of who buys it. Should the United States choose not to take advantage of this most secure and stable supply of foreign oil we have, Canada's next most likely customer would be China. On October 10, 2013, the U.S. Energy Information Administration reported that China passed the United States in September as the world's biggest net oil importer, with consumption outstripping production by 6.3 million barrels per day. It's no secret that China, with the world's second largest economy and an expanding global influence, has become a significant rival with the United States in recent years. According to General Jim Jones, former U.S. National Security Advisor in the Obama administration, in a 2011 briefing, the nation that fails to secure the energy its citizens and economic engine need to keep functioning leaves itself vulnerable to external contingencies in a dangerous and uncertain world, and at the whims of foreign leaders and other actors who may not always have its interests at heart. I think it's safe to say that China does not always have the best interests of the United States at heart. Since the late 1960s, the United States has become increasingly involved in Middle Eastern affairs, largely because of our dependence on the vast oil deposits of this region. The political and social turmoil of the Middle East makes it clear that we can no longer rely on this source of oil for our long-term energy needs, and we must develop North American oil production to its fullest capacity. As previously stated, Canada is going to extract and sell this oil, regardless of who buys it. The United States cannot afford to allow this vital resource to be sold to our economic and ideological competitors, especially since concerns over this oil would not be alleviated either way. The main opposition concerns to the pipeline are environmental, particularly the increase in greenhouse gas emissions from the extraction process itself. In a June 25, 2013 speech at Georgetown University, President Obama stated in regards to the pipeline, "Our national interest will be served only if this project does not significantly exacerbate the problem of carbon pollution." With that in mind, an August 2013 study by the independent energy consulting group IHS-Sarah confirmed construction of the Keystone XL pipeline would not have any impact on greenhouse gas emissions. This report concurs with the U.S. State Department's own 2012 Supplementary Environmental Impact Statement, essentially nullifying the main environmental objections to the pipeline, so it makes no sense for us not to take advantage of this secure supply of oil. In conclusion, I have covered the reasons why the Keystone XL pipeline is in the national interest, including increased energy security, job creation and the resulting economic benefits, the need to remain competitive in global affairs, as well as the negligible environmental impact of this project. I hope now that you have a better understanding of the importance of the Keystone XL pipeline to the national interests of the United States in maintaining our competitive edge globally, including our edge in energy development.